Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chasing Psychological Safety. Today, about the matter at hand, which is the Great Resignation. I'm sure everyone listening to this would have somewhat heard the term, be it on LinkedIn or on the radio or even in the mainstream media these days, which is the idea that loads and loads of people are leaving their jobs. Most of them motivated by the fact that it doesn't feel like they have enough flexibility from the organizations they work for. And some of them, maybe some residual mobility that we would have had last year during COVID that is only now manifesting itself. One way or another, it seems like it's a really big moment where people are putting brakes, putting their foot down really, and saying, this is it, this is what I require in terms of myself being productive and useful. And that thing that I require is enough flexibility in my work life. So the number one predictor of whether or not these people are going to stay is whether or not they're going to be allowed to have in their lives enough option in terms of working remotely or going back to the office. So that is the article that we wrote yesterday. Again, to repeat the message to HR, we believe that there are some things that you can do, and you possibly should use this moment to help us all get there. We know that there are some amazing people out there in HR doing God's work really, or whoever's work in helping people get to what they need to be at. So this is the time for HR to shine and take this message to leadership so that they do not end up making a really horrible mistake.
Absolutely. And what can we do as leaders of teams and organizations, leaders of large parts of organizations? It's keeping that message going that flexibility is going to be the key to the future of work. And we've said this many times, the future of work arrived about 18 months ago. So making sure that that option for full or partially remote is available to people. And then on top of that, making sure that there's no prescriptive approach to that. Saying to people, you've all got to come back into the office is going to cause the Great Resignation. That's just a fact. That's the way it's going to be. The future of work is flexible. Saying to people, you can be flexible, but this is exactly how you need to be flexible is a misnomer, and is also going to make people feel that they are undervalued, not able to actually make work fit them, and therefore not want to fit the work. So you may well see attrition based on that as well. So really just making sure that you create an environment that is flexible and that each team and person can adapt themselves to as they need to in order to have, the best working environment possibly available for them, which means having the best personal options available for them as well. The two are now firmly intertwined.
Exactly. And on a practical side of things, once you've carried that message and we're all agreed that we cannot chain people to their desk anymore, then kind of the next step is what all should we focus on quickly? And those things to focus on, some of them are organizational level, but some of them are team level. So empower your teams to do some of this work and figure out what flexibility best works for them. What type of interaction are they going to contract? What type of understanding in terms of their team dynamic? But at an organizational level, what you can and should do is start focusing on teaching people that they don't need to be doing command and control anymore. They can settle into a new servant leadership mode. That's a big educational piece. We've told people that the only way that they can manage people is by cracking whips, and now we're telling them absolutely not. All we need to do is remove blockers from people's pathways, and they will give you their best selves. It's a very big mentality shift that needs happening. So that's a big piece of work in terms of training from command and control to servant leadership that needs happening, as well as these team relaunches that do encompass both how people do it and what people do. And yeah, what else can HR do, Fionn?
Well, speaking of removing barriers and giving people what they need to be able to do the work in the best possible way, I think the final point we wanted to make was about tools, giving people the tools they need to be able to work flexibly and excellently. And that doesn't just mean giving them Zoom or Teams, although clearly that ability to communicate digitally is critical to being able to being successful in this world. But we really mean the tools that the team need to be engaged, to be productive. So engagement tools, not surveys. We'll repeat, not surveys, but tools that really help the team to engage with each other and get to know each other better and engage with their work. Tools such as self-care kits, coaching, options for coaching, tools that give people more data and allow them to understand themselves, their team, from an operational point of view and from a human point of view, even better. So whatever kit they need, ranging from your Jira or your Trello, right across to your wellness kits, whatever they need, make sure your team has that in order to be able to look after themselves, look after each other, and be really successful.
And obviously, it goes without saying, the one thing that all of these kids do need to have, whether it's from us or anyone else that makes it, is some type of really smart tool that's moving them into being truly psychologically safe, therefore able to deliver on all these things, even in a remote environment. So yeah, we wish you the best. It's a tough one ahead, but please focus on what matters, which is how to get there faster instead of attempting to get people back in. So thanks so much for listening to us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Great. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.